Yeah. So yesterday we discussed about a few other basic things about Java, right? So now, as an initial step, I will ask few questions on our yesterday's discussion. All right. So I'll try to pick up few names. Okay. So Arun. Arun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by a package?
Namespace.
Yeah. So what do you get out of namespace?
Uh,
So namespace is used to maintain the folder structure or the packaging hierarchy. See, suppose if you want to organize your files or class files or programs, you can organize everything in a package way. I mean, you can create a package and you can organize all the files within your package. Correct? So that is the advantage of using package.
okay.
Okay. Jivan? Yeah, Jivan, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, Jivan.
Some disturbance is coming. Uh,
Yeah, who's that?
uh,
From whose,
Hello.
from whose side we are getting the disturbance? I'll try to mute them.
Okay.
Yeah, how about now?
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I muted Vani. Okay. So yeah, so what is a class and what is an object?
Uh, Class a blueprint or template which has a variables, objects, and a method is known as a class.
Okay.
Object means superclass of any class.
Okay, that's right. The object is a superclass of any class, but what do you mean by object?
Uh, Object means like it's a main function
No, it's not a
in
function.
the
It's an
Java.
instance of a class.
It's
Object is an instance of a class.
instance of class.
So what you can do by using object?
Yes.
You can call
Uh,
variables and you can call different methods
eh,
in a class.
yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay, Likita?
Yes,
Yeah, so what else we discussed? What is a method signature?
we can. The method signature is first access specifier plus. You are hearing me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Access specifier plus return type plus method name.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
means it is
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so
yeah,
what is the syntax of a main
at
method?
public static void main in the brackets string plus arguments.
String array of arguments.
A string, yeah, string array of arguments. Args.
Yes,
You can, yeah, write in place of args anything.
yes, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Money?
Yeah,
Yeah, so what else we discussed yesterday?
static,
Yeah, okay. So what do you mean by static?
static class.
So why main method
Um,
called first? So what is the reason main method will be called or executed first?
it contains static, so which executes first.
Okay. So what if you try to give a different name to a main method? Will it work?
Like what?
If you give the name of a main method as a different method, say main1, will the program execute?
No, no.
No, it will not execute because it should have the same method signature and same method name. It should have the method name as main and it should have public static
Yeah.
void main and the string array of arguments. Then only it will work. Okay. Monica? Yeah. What is a static block?
Yes.
Yeah. What is a static block?
Yeah. Static block is something like if we want to execute something before main method, then we can make use of static block to execute those statements.
Okay. So again, to do the same question. So is there anyone left out? I asked everyone. Okay. So again, same question to you, different question to you. So how to create an object in Java? How can you create an object?
By
By making use of a syntax, um, class, and variable name,
Mm-hmm.
and first of all, in that the main keyword is we have to make use of new keyword.
Yes,
Then it means we are creating a new object, like
correct.
creating an
New,
object.
new is a keyword that will create you an object. All right. So
Yes.
these are the things we have
Yeah.
discussed in our yesterday's session. And coming back to our today's session, so we are going to discuss about data types. Okay. And what else? We will discuss about access specifiers, right? And if time permits, we will try to see other topics as well. So first of all, we'll discuss about data types. Okay. In C programming, you might have studied about different types of data types, right? So how to represent a number data type? Okay. So before going to the number data type itself,
integer.
yeah, I'll come to that point. So before going to the number data type itself, what all data types you can think that we can have?
Alphabets, numbers,
Yeah, you can have
true or
alphabets.
false.
Numbers,
Yeah, right. Decimals,
decimals,
true or
true or
false,
false.
right? So these are the different things. Now, so every language will have its own data types. Likewise, even Java has its own data types. Okay, we can categorize these into different types, like number data types, right? Again, the number can be a whole number or a fraction. So what is a whole number? Whole number is a number which does not have any decimal values. And what is a decimal or a fraction value? Which contains dot or decimals or any fraction values. All right. So what all data types will comes under number data type? We have something called byte, short, int, long.
Long.
Okay. So why we are saying that these all will represent whole number data type?
No.
Then why we are having all these different byte, short, int, and long? What is the reason for that?
Range.
Yes. So the one of the main difference is range and size.
Range.
Size. So byte, as the name itself it indicates, it will handle one byte. Okay. Likewise, short will handle some extra information, some extra byte, say 2 bytes. Okay. And int will handle say 4 bytes, and long will handle more. So each and every type of data will hold different type of data, different size, as well as different range. And also the range will be different. By using bytes, you can use only particular amounts of data, but particular range. By using short, you can use particular range. By using int, you can use only say 256 or say that much range. But by using long, you can use a long number as well. See, if you have something called age, if you want to declare a person's age, so what is the best data type to use?
Byte.
No, byte will not range more than 10 or 20, right? I mean, it is like 8. It is still 8 only. You cannot
Yeah, 8 bits. So int.
int. So int is the best. Why? Because it stores the value from minus 256. I mean, it stores from minus 127 to or 128 or 256 characters, 256, right? So, and also
Yes.
why only int? Because generally in the real scenario, a person age cannot cross more than 100. I mean, in positive logical scenario, correct? Even if it crosses
Yes.
like 110 also, it can withstand, withstored. Correct? So int is the best value. Then how can you use long for employee IDs or student IDs? Say student IDs can be say 167027 this long. So how can you hold that big number? You can use long. All right. Is it clear when to use
Yes.
byte, short? So if you want to represent very short value, you can use short. If you want to represent still short value like 1, 2, 3, you can use bytes. All right, again it depends. So generally you will be using int, long very frequently because you'll be dealing with numbers at least like hundreds or employee IDs or student IDs. So you can use long for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is about number data type. And now what is the decimals? In the numbers only I said we have whole numbers and decimal numbers. So what is decimal number? Decimal numbers can be 1.2,
Floating point.
2.5 or 3.2, anything which has a fraction can be represented as a decimal number. So what are the different data types that Java can hold to input decimal numbers? We have something called float,
Float. Double.
double, right? Like that we have big decimal, right? So we have float, double and big decimal. So then again same way, why we have these three different types? So same way how we have the size restrictions and the range restrictions in the number integer data types, likewise we have same kind of restrictions using float, double and big decimal also. So it will represent you in the form of decimal points, say 10.20, 10.23 or 11.53. So generally, right, if you are dealing with any kind of money or dollar information, frequently you will be using big decimals. Amount or money related things will be dealt with big decimals. All right, is that fine? So now you're clear how to handle the decimal type of data types. All
Yeah.
clear? Yes. Now, what are the other types we can use? True or false. So how we can handle true or false?
Boolean.
Yes. So true or false means either yes or no, or 0 or 1. So how can you do that? Using Boolean. So Boolean is a value which tells whether it is either 1 or 0. It is like a switch, 1 or 0, on or off, true or false, 1 or 0. Right? That is Boolean. Now alphabets. So how can you represent alphabets? So again, alphabets can be represented in the form of characters. So Java has something called character. You can represent a single character using character data type. So char. So what does char suggest? It represents only single character. Now, what if you want to represent group of characters or a complete word? What is the data type you can?
String.
String. So string you can use. And what is a string? String is a class. String is a class. All these are like primitive data types. These are not classes. These are all primitive data types. And big decimal is a class. Don't worry about this. We will discuss in future. Okay. And generally I should not tell this, but for your understanding I have explained this. Okay. These are the primitive data types that we have. Okay, now then what is a string? String is a class and it is final class. Okay, why string is final class? What is final? Final means its definition or declaration is final. You cannot change or modify the behavior of a string. So you cannot explicitly, you cannot change the behavior or modify the methodology or the logic within a string. All right, so that is the reason it is final. You will learn more about final keyword in our next sessions. All right, and now how can you declare a string? String s is equal to hello. All right, we have something called string s is equal to hello. Now again, one important thing you need to understand is, wait, before going there we have other thing called string buffer. Okay, again string buffer is also a class. So what this is used for? Even this is also used to maintain string operations. All right, so have you ever heard about string buffer? Anyone?
No.
No, right? No problem.
Like
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard, I guess. Can I
Yes.
try?
Yeah, try, no problem, you can just try.
Yeah, buffer is like you can store words or sorry letters in it, characters in it.
Okay.
So string buffer is you can go and store the words in it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So actually, what string buffer does is both string also stores strings, string buffer also stores strings. You can create different strings, but the difference is string is immutable, whereas string buffer is mutable. I'll tell you what is this. Okay, so you need to understand this main thing. What is the difference between a string and a string buffer? String is immutable and string buffer is mutable. I will tell you what is mutable and what is immutable. Okay, and also what is the other property of a string? It is a final class, so that means you cannot change the behavior or you cannot change the properties of a string class. All right, now
Yeah.
we have one more class called string builder. Okay, again we have already string, we have already string buffer, then why we have string builder also? Again, string builder is also used to perform string operations. I'll tell you the each and every difference between these three. Okay, so all these three are used to perform string operations. But now, so you guys need to understand this very carefully. Okay, I'll try to show in the form of a pictorial representation. So in general, what is the meaning of mutable? I said string is immutable, right? Whereas string buffer is mutable and string builder is also mutable. So what is the meaning of mutable? So if I go to Google and search,
Options.
what is that? So if you go to,
Options.
not options. So if you go to
Option. Oh,
option, OPTION,
no,
No,
absent.
absent, like absence.
absent. Oh no, 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 no. So mutable means which can be changed. See here,
Changed.
liable to change. The mutable nature of fashion. That means it can change, it can vary. So string is immutable, it cannot vary. Whereas string buffer can be varied. How can you say that? How can you even tell that? I mean, with confirmation, right? So for that, we will create a simple string. So this is a string. So in Java, I have explained you, right? For each and every declaration or declaring a method or declaring a variable, it occupies some memory. Correct? Have I explained you that or no? Okay, that's fine. I think
No.
I haven't explained you. So now I'm saying, right, like for each and every data type, if you declare a data type, it will store some memory and it occupies some memory location. That's correct. You're declaring something means that needs to take some memory, right, to store that value. Correct. So likewise, string is also, if you declare some string called string s is equal to hello, it stores some value here. Say s is equal to hello, and say this is allocated to reference location 100. Now if you try to perform any operations to string like s is equal to s plus world, I mean you are trying to concatenate, you are trying to append some other string to this string. Okay, you are trying to concatenate the string. Now what this will do, instead of going and updating in this 100 location only, it will try to create a new location with hello string. So now s will become hello world. Why?
World.
Yeah, because you are doing, you declared s is equal to hello, yes, that is fine, so it created one memory location. Now again what you're doing, you're trying to manipulate the string. So s is equal to s plus world, you're adding or appending something to already existing string. So now instead of going and updating in the same old first location, it will not do that, it will try to go and create a new location at 101, say. So now what's happened? So if you try to perform different operations on a string, it is keep on creating its reference locations, right? It is not changing its original value. It is creating new values. Say for example, if you add some other string, say hello world or I am here or something. True. So now this is, if you try to add true again, it is trying to create a new memory location in a different thing, right? So what it does, if you try to perform any kind of an operation on a string variable, it tries to create new memory locations. So what does that mean? It is immutable. You are not able to change the original string location. You're creating new strings every time. You're creating new reference locations every time. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone? So why is,
Hmm.
yeah, why is string immutable? String has a peculiar property called string is immutable and it is a final class. So why it is immutable? For that answer you can give it as, say for example, consider string s is equal to hello. So when you declare a string s is equal to hello, it will be allocated to some memory location, say 100. Now if you try to perform operations on the same string, say s is equal to s plus world or s is equal to s plus your name, what it does, it will not go and update in the existing string. It will try to create a new string and it will try to create a new reference location altogether. So it's simply wasting your memory. Actually speaking, it should go and update in this, but it is simply wasting its memory because it is creating new instance or new location every time. So that is the reason it is called immutable. So you're not able to change the initial location. You are creating new location every time, right? So that is the reason string is immutable. So how can you avoid this problem? So if this is the case and if you are doing 100 strings, if you are doing hundreds of operations on strings, what will happen? It will create different memories and it is waste of your memory, correct?
Yes.
Right? So that is the reason there is a new concept introduced called string buffer. So what is a string buffer? Again, string buffer is also a class, but used to perform string operations like string. But string buffer is mutable. So what is it mutable? So it can be changed. So now how can it can be changed? Say for example, if you declare string buffer s is equal to hello,
Hmm.
string buffer s is equal to hello. Okay. So now what you do? It will allocate to some memory location, say 100. Now, if say how can you create a string buffer? You can do string buffer s is equal to new string buffer of hello. This is the way of declaring a string buffer. Now, if you are appending something, you can do is append s dot append of world. So now what you are doing? You are appending world to already existing string. So it will be hello world, correct? So now to
Yes.
this hello world, instead of creating a new location, it will try to update the existing one. So now hello will become hello world. So it will override the existing thing.
Hmm.
So it will not change or it will not create a new reference location. Each and every time it will come and update on the same existing location. So now if you change your value to hello world true, yeah, it will come and update this. Or if you want to add something, it will come and update this. So it is not going to create a new location or new reference or new memory every time. It will come and update the same existing location created variable all the time if you are going to operate or manipulate some string operations. Is that clear? So that is the reason string buffer is mutable, whereas string is
Immutable.
immutable. So now you got to know what is the difference between a string and a string buffer.
Yes.
All right. Now we have other thing. So what is the difference between? Then we already have string buffer. So it is resolving our string issue. So that is the reason we have string buffer. Now we have one more thing called string builder. So why is this? What this will resolve? Okay, the main thing is string buffer is synchronized. Okay, string buffer is synchronized. What is synchronized? you are not supposed to learn now, because it is a different topic that you will deal with, multi-threading. So I will explain you about synchronization there. But for time being, you should know string buffer is synchronized, whereas string builder is not synchronized. Okay, see, say for example, you have an operation, you have something. If that is performing some extra operation or some extra algorithm, what does that will do? It is taking some extra performance, right? So you are saying synchronized. So it will take some extra time or extra performance to make it synchronized. So if you are working on string buffer, it is taking some extra performance overhead. It will take some extra time. So to avoid that, a new concept is developed called string builder, again, which is mutable and which is not synchronized. So finally you are getting a mutable string operations and not synchronized operations. Correct? So you just try to see each and every case we have a defect and we are trying to rectify the defect. So in string, we have a defect called immutable. You cannot change the string location. So how we resolve that? Because Java provided a class called string buffer. So which makes us our string operations as mutable. Okay, so we resolve that issue and we are good. Now again we have one more class called string builder. What is the reason for that? String buffer is synchronized, so it adds some extra performance overhead, whereas string builder is not synchronized. Clear everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, and again string builder is also similar to string buffer. So how can you declare that? String builder, say s is equal to new string builder. Hello. Okay, so again I'm not drawing a new diagram because it will be same as string buffer. So if you try to do this, it will try to append the same thing all the time. If you do hello, yeah, it will add hello here. Again, if you do hello world, it will add the hello world to this. Hello world true. So whatever you do, it will try to add within the same string because it is string builder. Everyone clear? What is a string? What is string buffer and what is string builder? And what are the difference between all these three? So
Yeah, yes.
can someone take an initiative and explain everyone what is string? Okay. Likita, can you tell me what is a string and why it is immutable?
Because string generally used to represent a group of characters.
Okay.
Yeah, it is string is a class. It is a finite class. Finite class means we can't change the exact meaning. That's how it is invented.
Yes.
So, and in the string, uh, we- there are also string buffer and string builder.
Yeah.
And in the string buffer, generally in string, if you declare any word in the program, if you want to replace the same word in the other part of program, it changes the memory location to store the new word if you declare a string. But
Okay.
so it occupies more memory place, so we are using string buffer instead of string to
Yeah.
correct use of the memory.
Why it is
So
immutable? Can you explain again? How can you explain again why it is immutable?
because if you store one word in the string,
Okay.
if you declare string is equal to some word in braces,
Uh-huh.
it is stored in some one memory location.
Correct.
And in the other part of the program, if you declare string as some other word,
No.
it
So
stores that word in
instead of
another memory location.
telling in another part of program, you can tell if you try to perform some extra operation on the same string, like concatenating a string
Okay.
or adding some extra string to the same string. So if you tell another part of program, then it will misguide to a different program. But we are doing everything in a single program, right? So if you tell,
Just
yeah,
means if you want to appending, right?
yes. So
Yeah. Okay.
it will create a new reference.
So
Okay.
if you want to
Yeah.
if you want to add some word to the string, then it stores that word in another memory location. So it is said to be immutable.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that is the reason immutable. So everyone knows why string is immutable now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Jeevan, so now string is immutable, but how you resolve that problem? How can you resolve that problem?
String is string buffer we can use.
Okay, so what is string buffer? What is the difference between string and string buffer?
String is like we can extend in the string buffer like data.
Okay, how can you tell that? I mean, yeah, extend in a sense. Yeah, I want the clear answer, clear explanation.
Like
See, in a string class, if you try to append something, it will create new reference locations every time. But in string buffer, if you try to append
yes.
strings, it will not create new reference locations. It will try to go and sit in the same memory that is allocated initially.
Okay.
Alright? So you are not following or following?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because see, these are
Yes,
the
I'm following.
these are the very basic things. That is the reason I'm stressing a lot. These are the things that will be asked in the interview. Okay, I want
Okay.
everyone to be strong on the basics. So next 15 days we will be discussing complete core Java. Yeah, and I want everyone's complete attention. All right. So now string buffer is mutable. Okay. We have one more class called string builder. So Monica, what is string builder and what is the difference between string buffer and string builder?
Yeah, string builder is also same like string buffer.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we concatenate the string with another one, then it will store within the same location.
Okay.
But the only difference is that string buffer is synchronized and string builder is not synchronized.
Yes. So for time being, don't worry about what synchronization is. I will tell you whenever you are supposed to learn. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's about the string and string buffer. So now what we will do few examples on these things. So whatever we have learned today, creation of data types and all. So we will try to do some operations, add two variables and try to do some operations. All right. Some try to do some packing. So now, how can I proceed? You guys tell me. Yesterday I have explained you how to proceed each and every day. So what you guys will suggest me? So today how we will do?
Create day two,
Yes. So what?
create the package.
Yes, we need to create a new package. Why? Because we need to
Package.
segregate. We need to differentiate what are the programs we have done in the previous session or different classes. So we'll create a new package. So under SRC, we'll create a new package. Com Java
Yeah, my
day 2.
Two dots.
Day 2, we are dealing with data types. So we will write data type. Correct? So this is the package name. So within this package, you will create different classes. Say I will create a class called data types example. Yeah, and also everyone, I forgot to ask what is a camel case. So who is left over? Arun? Arun?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is a camel case?
Starts with lowercase, and if anyone, and the extending will be
No, see,
capitals.
okay, simple thing. So if you have multiple words in a method name, then the first will be starting with method or a variable name. The first word starts with lowercase, and the next coming words will start with uppercase. But that does not hold good with the class names. Class name will every time starts with the capital uppercase. That is the syntax. Again, that is not guaranteed. I mean, that is not restricted that you cannot create lowercase class names. You can create any class names, but that is not suggestible. That is not good for reading usability. Okay, so class name starts with a capital letter, but the method names and variable names follows camel case. Make sense? So even class name also starts with follows camel case, but the first letter will be uppercase only. The next things will be anyways camel case. So everyone clear what a camel case is, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. So now we will do few examples for our data types. So what we will do, we will try to perform few addition operations, few subtraction operations, and try to print the values. Okay, just a basic things. Just I want you guys to get hold of what data types are, how can you perform some operations on data types. So now I want to do, I want to add two variables and store that result in third variable. How can I do that? So can you guys tell me how to do that? Simple.
Define two variables.
Yes.
False.
Okay, so in order to define two variables, I will do int a is equal to 10, and what I want, I need another variable int b is equal to 20. Now what I need to do, I need to add these two variables. And also see, in Java, semicolon is mandatory for each and every statement. So what does that mean? If you specify semicolon, that says that statement is ended.
Termination of this.
Yeah, so it says the statement is ended. So you can write a new statement. Alright, so now what we have to do? We have to store the addition of these two variables in another variable. So how can we do that? Int c is equal to a plus b. Alright, see, this is very basic example. The reason I'm saying is I want you guys to know the usage of data types. Okay, so how can you print this variable? See,
Sys out
System.out.
control
yeah,
space.
system.out.println. What is the shortcut for that?
System.out.println.
What is the shortcut for that?
System
Out control space.
Without control space, you will get.
కాదు వాళ్ళ నాన్న మళ్ళా అదుర్కొని కూర్చుంటారు ఇక డైరెక్ట్ మేమేం అడగంలే
I'm sorry. So the problem, I cannot write the system without within the class. I need to create a main method, right? I forgot to do that. So we need to create a main method. Public static void.
Yeah,
Oh,
main method.
Yeah.
string.
So now I'll try to declare all this. So now I will do sysout, and I'll print result of adding two values.
కాదు అది గరీబ్ మధ్య చూడాలి ప్రేమతో మళ్ళీ తెచ్చినాక తాగండి ప్రేమ మల్లుడు తెచ్చిందని
See.
See. So now if you run this program,
30.
so what does this give? This is a simple program to add two variables. Okay, so likewise you can perform any kind of an operation like a minus b or a star b, whatever you want. So if you want to multiply two variables, you can do a star. Star indicates multiplication, so it multiplies 10 into 20 gives 200. So you can perform any kind of mathematical operations on these things. So same way you can do float or double d is equal to 10.12. Okay, so now if you do addition of double result and if you try to add c plus d, okay, and if you print result, oops, what it will go? C is an integer type, but d is a double type, but still you can add an integer and a double and the result will be double. All right, now if you try to run the program, it will give us 210.12. So what is 210? Sorry, what is 200? First of all, c is 200, 20 into 10, so we are getting 200. And now what you are doing, you are adding c 200 plus 10.12, which is giving us 210.12. Everyone clear how to use the integers and doubles? Same way you can use float also. I don't want to repeat the same thing for float, short, byte, right? You guys can easily understand by seeing this. Make sense? Yes. So this is about integer and doubles. So now this is a different data types examples. Now again boolean. So boolean is nothing, it's just checks boolean grade. So just it will take either false, that's it, or true. And if you try to print the grade value, it will give us the grade result, yes or no. And why we are just declaring hard coded data grade is equal to true, but in real scenarios that will not be the case. You will perform some conditions, then only you will get either true or false. But that conditional things we will learn in our next upcoming classes. Like we have conditional statements like if else, for while looping statements like while, and we have conditional statement like if else, switch case. Okay, we will learn more about booleans there. All right, so this is about simple data types that we have in Java. So now we will get to the string class. So to declare string class, we will create a new class, the string example, and we need a main method for this. Okay, so how can you do that? You will just declare a variable called string s is equal to hello. Okay, why it is giving compile error? Why it's giving the error?
Semicolon.
Yes, so in order to complete a statement, you need to give semicolon. So now, once you are done with this, you will do s is equal to s plus world. What does it mean? You are trying to add something to string s. So now if you try to print s value, string value is, and if you try to run the program,
Hello.
which is hello world. So there is no space between. So if you want, you can add a space. So this gives us hello world. So now internally what happens? For S, it creates one memory location, and again for this operation, it creates a different memory location. So this is string. Okay, this is string operation. Now, what is string buffer? Are you guys clear with string? So you can do whatever you want. You can perform substring operations as well. So let me tell you guys. String is a class, right? So this you can treat as an object. So you can call different methods that are present within string class. So how can you do that? Say for example, we have s as hello string. Now if you want to do substring, okay, substring means if you want to cut the string into subparts, if you want to make the string big string into small strings, so how can I do that? You can use substring. And if you specify the uh, index as 1, and if you print s dot substring of 1, or I'll declare one more string result is equal to, I'm substringing from 1, index 1. So what is index 1? Actually it's the index starts with 0. So 0 is this character, 1 is E, 2 is L. So you are passing the index as 1. So now substring of 1 means it takes the string from 1 till the end and it leaves the H. So now if you try to print the result, see, it removed H. Why? Because you are saying I want the substring from this location. What if you want the substring from 4th location or 3rd location? And if you, what is the 3rd location here? So from where it will
L. Second L.
second L. So it starts with 0. So H is 0, E is 1, first L is 2, and second L is 3rd. So you will get the values from LO world. Right? This is one of the method in substring. And you have one more method, substring, with two different things. I'll show you that as a string second result is equal to s dot substring of, you can give begin and end index. So what is the begin index? Say if you want, okay, I want from this character till this character, I want from second character to fourth character. start and end index. So what I will get? Second character to fourth character?
First L to 0. Oh, L.
Yeah. So now if I print second result,
Yeah, L. L. L.
L. Okay. Second, it includes second. So and excludes fourth. It includes, starting will includes and ending will excludes. I mean, it is like from 2
Exclude.
till 4. That means 2 and 3. So it will not give the fourth value. From 2, from the second index to fourth index. But fourth index will not be included. See, 0, 1, and 2. What is second?
L.
L. So it starts with second. And what is third? It gives second L also. Where it stops? At fourth. So second to fourth is LL. Okay. Are you guys clear about string operations, substring method?
Yes.
Right. So now we will do string buffer. Example. I'll create a main method. So now, how to create a string buffer? I already told you.
String buffer class.
String buffer as
Variable.
new
Mm-hmm.
string buffer of hello. Okay. So now you can print s. How you can print s? Without value is string value is s. So now if you print this, you will get hello, which is same. But now what if you want to add some extra strings to this? How can you add? You can add s dot append, right? So in string you used to do plus will automatically append it, but in string buffer you need to call a method s dot append, so then only it will append something to the string. So now if you do s dot append and print the value, see, it will become hello world. Why? You already declared s as hello and you are appending something to its end. So s dot append. So now here in this line it creates a memory location, say 100. Now even if you do this operation, it will go on modifying the same memory location. Is that clear?
Yes.
That makes sense. Now coming to our final thing, string builder. Okay. So how can we declare a string builder? Same as string
Builder
buffer.
class.
Same way. If you try to print the builder value, right, what this will print? Hello. And what if you want to append something? You can use builder append. And what is the difference? We are doing the same thing with string buffer also the same way. What is the difference? String builder is not synchronized.
Synchronize.
Not synchronized string builder. The string buffer is synchronized. So everyone clear how to perform different operations on string, how to substring a string, and how to substring with start index and end index, how to concatenate a string, right? And how to append something to a string buffer. Correct? Everyone clear?
Venkat garu,
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
string buffer actually అది data type కదా, how can we give it as a class name?
No, string buffer is a class. I said from strings it is a class. From strings it is a class. I said these are the primitive data types. That's what I mentioned. Here we discussed are the primitive data types. From the string, it is a class. I said it is final class. String is a final class, and string buffer is a class where it is mutable. Okay? I never said it
Okay.
is the data type.
Okay.
Class,
Okay.
class type of data type. String data type, yes, that's right. But it is a class type.
Okay.
Is that clear or still confusion?
Not too clear.
Oh, nothing. See, data types, we have two different types of data types, like primitive data types and
Mm.
object-based data types. What are object-based data types?
Okay.
Object-based data types are something deals with classes. Okay,
Okay.
so
Oh, string buffer and string. Okay, they will come under object-based
yes,
data types.
so these are all strings. You are creating an object. String buffer also you are creating an object. String builder also you are creating an object. So these are all object-based
Okay.
classes, whereas all other things, byte, int, short, long, float, double, these are all primitive data types. They does not require object interaction.
Okay.
Now, is this clear now or no?
Eh, Yeah, I'm clear.
Okay, awesome.
Venkat,
Yeah,
వెంకట్ గారు
yeah.
ఈ ప్రిమిటివ్ డేటా టైప్స్ ఓన్లీ మెయిన్ మెథడ్ లోనే డిక్లేర్ చేయాలా?
No, you
ఒకవేళ
can declare.
క్లాస్ లో డిక్లేర్ చేస్తే
క్లాస్ లో కూడా డిక్లేర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు.
మెమరీ అలొకేట్.
ఎక్కడైనా చేసుకోవచ్చు. క్లాస్ లో కూడా డిక్లేర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు.
ఓకే.
So you can declare anywhere and you can use it. But I was calculating result, right? So instead of maintaining different logic, I want everything to be under main logic, main method. So that is the reason I did that. So again, you can do the same thing. So for your doubt, we will create a new class, say external declaration, external variable declaration, or outside variable declaration. Okay. Say you will declare int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20, and you do int c is equal to a plus b. So now you can use that c variable within this method. Okay. So now what is happening? What is error? It is saying you cannot make static reference to that. So what I said, if you are not maintaining anything within the main method, then how can you refer that? You need to create an object. So outside variable out is equal to new outside variable example. Now if you do, all right. So that is the reason I haven't created outside, because if you have created everything outside, you need to create an object. You need to create an object to call those variables if they are not static. Okay, if they are not static variables, so you have to create an object. So now what if these variables are static? We'll try to do an example. Static variables. Are you guys following or no? Now I declare variable static int a equal to 10, static int b is equal to 20, and I'll do static
Yeah.
c is equal to
Yes.
a plus b. So now if you do
Yes.
sys out, the result is, now you can do c directly, because you're declaring these are static. So static variables you can access without creating object. But if you declare variables within the class, then they are called instance variables. So if you declare instance variables, you need an object to be called. Alright, but these are static variables, so you don't need an object. That's what I said yesterday. Static does not require an object. So we declared all the variables are static, and now you are printing the static variable directly.
Yeah.
But what happened in the previous example? We declared everything as instance variables, not method variables also. These are instance variables. So if it is within the method, then you can directly access C. But these are not method variables, these are instance variables declared within a class. So how can you access instance variables? The only way to access
Yeah.
is creating an object and calling that variable
Object.
in that object. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So how about boys? Hello? Are you guys there?
Yes.
It's clear.
Is it clear, right? You're following, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that is about today's session. So we discussed about different data types, strings. What is it? Okay, so we discussed about data types, string variables, string buffer, string
Yeah.
builder, and we tried to declare static variables and non-static variables, which are instance variables, and we tried to do some examples on that. Right? So I hope everyone are clear with these things. So
Yes.
yeah, we will discuss more in our tomorrow session. So that is all I have today. Okay, so tomorrow
Okay.
we will learn about conditional statements, okay, and looping statements, and then we will go to static, final, abstract. So those things, because we have not discussed about the inheritances, polymorphisms examples. So we need to discuss that in the next classes. But tomorrow we will talk about conditional statements and looping statements. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
okay, then we'll meet tomorrow again. Yeah,
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.
Good night.
yeah, bye, good night,
Yeah, okay, thanks. Bye.
bye.
Okay, bye.